Scott, how are you this morning?
Dan, I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm spectacular. What do you remember about that night a year ago?
I remember being nervous, and I don't get nervous about television because, as you know, it's just television. And once you demystify it and once you realize that really nothing bad can happen, even if you do something truly awful, it's still just television. But I felt nervous just because I didn't know what it would feel like, right? You're sitting out there in the middle of this set by yourself, and you're off on this new endeavor, and who the hell knows what it's going to be. And I remember having you come in, and I remember what it meant to me then and what it means to me now. The fact that you'd come back, I didn't take it as a passing of any torch. I felt like it was more significant than that because, as I said that night, and as I'll say again, you were one half of the best team that ever did it, and it felt like your presence, whether you meant it this way or not, I decided to internalize it as something of a blessing, and that your blessing as we tried to do something new. I remember it felt very, very important, and still does that you did that. So whether you meant that at all, it makes no difference because it was my placebo. It meant that you were giving me a metaphorical pat on the back and saying, "Go get him."
Were you concerned, or was anybody concerned of what I would say?
No, because honestly, what could you say that was going to blow the mothership up? Like if it was a Trojan horse moment, if that was the goal, well, we were taping and we just never would have run it. But no, I wouldn't have neutered what you had to say because I didn't presume that there was anything that was going to be that inflammatory or, oh no, he said this thing about that guy. No, not at all.
And I like the fact that you stood up for me when I said I'm going to wear the visitor's tag, and everybody was trying to get me to take my visitor's tag off. And you go, no, let him wear it. And I went, yeah, I'm going to wear it. I'm a visitor here. Don't want anybody to read into anything.
Someone stole that.
What?
Well, we had the sticker on the Mickey Mouse statue that you gave me. The statue remains. Someone took the sticker as a memento.
Wow. Well, Paulie, get the I-team on that.
All over.
Find out where my visitor's sticker is that I left there. Do you remember your first Sports Center since Sports Center debuted 37 years ago today?
Vaguely. And I remember doing a show on news, which was obviously not Sports Center. It was with Bill Pito, and I remember not having the vaguest idea that the show on news was something of a wheel where you get to the end of it and then you started it over again. And I had scripts everywhere on the desk, and Bill Pito, as only Bill could deliver it, he looked around to no one in particular and said out loud, "We have a script management crisis." And in the break in between, say, the F's, all right, because the segments are lettered, and the breaks between the F's and repeating the A's, somehow we managed to kind of cobble the scripts back together so that we could try to do it again. But that was just a horrifying moment. And I believe that the first time I was out there in the big room, it was Linda Cohn and I. And I can remember, like, you look back on it now, and I'm sure I was trying so hard to say the clever thing and to figure out what's going to be my thing I lean on, my little way to say home run or whatever. And then as you become more comfortable with the setting, you realize that just let it come to you. You don't have to be out there trying to be Shecky Green at the Catskills or something.
Yeah, I think everybody got caught up in that for a while, that they thought they could be successful as a SportsCenter anchor if you had a catchphrase. And I went, no, that's not. If you can write and you look comfortable and you look halfway decent, you can do this if you have knowledge. The catchphrases, that's just something silly that, we started it and then we realized that it became sort of our shtick. And then Oberman and I tried to discredit our shtick by then making fun of our catchphrases with some of the stupidest things you could possibly say on TV. And even those caught on. So then you realized, we're in so deep, we're never going to get out of this catchphrase hell.
It's a clever thing to do, to create your own cottage industry, then make fun of it, and you're profiting from both sides of it. But you're right about the comfort, and that's That's the most doing what we do, and that's the dirty little secret about our business, is that it isn't particularly difficult to do it. There are lots and lots of people who do radio and TV all across the country. It's very difficult to do it well, and to do it well and make it look easy. And that only comes if you feel comfortable in your surroundings, if you're not afraid to stumble a bit and fall, and to just let yourself be yourself. And once you reach that place, well, then you're either going to succeed or you're going to fail based on who you are. You're not some role you're trying to be, not some person that you're going out there and pretending you are for the hour. And fortunately and thankfully with this new endeavor, it felt like a comfortable place almost immediately. And that was frankly kind of surprising, because I just, I didn't know. I didn't know if it would feel that way, or if it would feel like some odd dance I was trying to learn that just was offbeat or something.
Scott Van Pelt joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Can we have full disclosure here that I tried to entice you to join us at NBC?
Sure.
How close were you to leaving and joining us at NBC?
At the time that, and if I can, I don't want to say too much, but I mean, I think people can probably connect the dots, that if I was going to go there, what was I going to do? And there was discussion about something that perhaps would have looked a bit like this, a show that was mine to fill out the way that I wanted to fill it out with whatever I wanted to do. And that was, at the time, I wasn't mentally ready to do it. When they say, oh, you want to do a show, and you say, okay, well, what is it? And they say, oh, well, whatever you want it to be. And you think, well, hell, I don't know what I want it to be. You tell me what I want it to be, right? And I guess having had the chance to do a few more years of radio, where you become more comfortable with the sound of your own voice, sharing what you really think about things, and realizing, all right, I could do that in a TV space. I guess the what I'm saying is that the people that I talked to were all fantastic, and the offers were intriguing, and they frightened me, I think, more than I was able to confront. I couldn't imagine trying it then. And then this chance to do this show here happened several years later, where I was just a little more confident with the idea that, all right, I'll take that step off the edge. So, the contract's up in a few years, and if the going rate apparently I see has escalated in the time since we've last spoken, if we're throwing away those giant Powerball money checks, people have my number.
Scott,
I'm sure we can talk again.
You got to embrace debate to get that kind of money, though.
Yeah, but do you? Do you, Dan?
So I'm told. You got to embrace debate there. And how much do you like Tebow? Do you like Tebow an awful lot?
He's actually a guy that I know pretty well, and I'm afraid I'm too close to the situation to objectively be able to debate his relative merits as a baseball player and or a football player or anything else that he might be. Scott,
you got to have a hot.
I have to keep struggling.
You got to have a hot take, Scott. I need a hot take. No,
I have tepid room temperature takes.
Lukewarm takes from Scott Van Pelt. Yeah, you got to have that. But Dan, I tried to get Scott from the Golf Channel. It took me how long did it take me to pry you away from the Golf Channel to come to the mothership? A year? It
was about a year in the making, and even then it was only because an executive there screwed up. ESPN comes to you with an offer. This is your chance to go from. Double A.
Okay.
And then the Yankees come to you and they say, "Hey, we'd like you to come play for us." Well, then it's the onus is on the Double A team to make the offer better. And the offer I was given was actually less than the Yankees offered. And so I tried to explain to the gentleman sitting across from me, no, at a minimum, you have to just offer $1 more. That's sort of how it works. And it was a combination of you prying and them just absolutely. It was a 3-putt from 2 feet, Dan. That's how that negotiation went. So it was like, hell, I'll never forget this. I was sitting at an In-N-Out in Las Vegas covering the tour event there, and it was just I had an epiphany, what some call a moment of clarity. And I said, you know what? I'm going to the mothership.
And you're a better man for it. Hey, congrats on the success of the show. Midnight each night, you can see Scott following SportsCenter, or it's his own version of SportsCenter. How did I do with that promotion? Yeah, all right.
Just tease, Dan. Tease. Over-promote and under-deliver all day long.
If you miss his show, you'll die. How's that?
Some have said.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Dan. You know that, man. Thank you so much for everything.
All right, Scotty. Thanks for joining us. It's Van Peasy, Scott Van Pelt.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.